Hey guys, this is Mel, and it is July 24th, 2019, and I'm here to talk about Legacy, specifically the Season 2 spoilers that were revealed at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. This video is only going to pretty much cover any spoilers that were revealed during the Legacies panel that took place on Friday, July 19th. I'm recording this now because I was finally able to find videos that covered the panel specifically. There's a bunch of interviews that were uploaded over the weekend, but I really wanted to see the panel first and gauge whether or not enough spoilers were given through that before I dived into the interviews, because there's so many interviews and it would take too long to cover all of it. So that's something right there. So up on screen is my plan for the video. We'll go through some season basics that were revealed before the panel. Trailer details I would have included, but I haven't been able to find a video by the time I recorded this. But since filming hadn't started yet by the time the convention happened, there isn't going to be any new footage. They actually started filming on the Monday, so July 23rd. So that's something there. Then I'll go into the panel-specific spoilers for you and break things down that way. So again, huge spoiler alert. If you're watching this video, you're here to hear spoilers. So just heads up about that. So I'll try to do this in 15 minutes. We'll see how I do. But let's start off very quickly with the season basics. So pretty much, while researching this, the episode count actually got bumped up to 20 episodes. So if we're going to go about like what happened previous year about 20 episode run, it's going to maybe end of April if they stick to it, just like how Supernatural ended. But it's definitely tying up with Supernatural because it's airing Thursdays again at 9 p.m. with the premiere happening on October 10th, 2019. So that's something exciting there. Also, in the actual press release for San Diego Comic-Con, like when they were advertising the panel and stuff, it did say, and I quote, "The series will pick up immediately following Hope Michelson jumping into the pit to save Landon and erasing herself from everyone's memories." Though, as I'm watching the panel, they did make a lot of references of the fact, like, this summer or after summer, like, as kind of like the fact that the time between the two seasons is the duration of the summer. So I don't know which way it's supposed to go, if it actually is picking up immediately where season 1 had left off, or we're returning when school picks up again in September. So that's a question to find out later. So let's get right into the panel now. That is something that I just touched upon. But panel source is on screen right now. I do not know how to say the name, but their video was done in 3 parts on YouTube. If you're able to find it, I suggest you go watch it. It's a little hard audio-wise to hear things. Maybe it's because they're filming from so far away. But they did a pretty good job with what they could. So I thank you for uploading that video to ignalulusa. Sorry if I can't pronounce that. But anyways, getting into it. Attendees, we did get the MC being Candace Acola, aka Caroline, coming to MC the whole panel. So that was pretty cool. We did have a panel including Julie Plec and Britt Matthews, part of the behind-the-scenes team of the show. And then we got the cast themselves. We have Danielle, Aria, Kaylee, Jenny, Quincy, Matt, and Peyton joining in as part of the cast. Full names are going to be on screen for you in case you need character names with the real life names. But let's get right into it. They did reveal, or they talk about a little bit about everything, but with Malivore, they did say that it's possible that the ingredients to destroy Malivore may have been wrong, and that is why Hope is stuck in Malivore while no one else remembers her existence. They did talk about whether or not we're going to see a human version of Malivore. They said that he's just a man made of mud, and that if he were to take on a human form, Landon would be the first choice person he'd want to possess, from the sounds of it. So there's that. So in regards to Hope, though, we did get kind of an unofficial confirmation that she is stuck in Malivore with Agent Clark, or Ryan Clark, or Landon's half-brother, or whatever you want to call him. So there's that. We do see Hope trying to deal with kind of the heartbreak of being ripped away from Landon and everything she loved at the school and all her friends and family, and kind of like being ripped away from that and having her sacrifice, and yet being stuck in this place. Like, she thought when she was destroying Malivore that she would find peace, she'd be reunited with her parents, but then to find out that she's not, and that she's stuck in Malivore, which is this darkness, is just, that's something we're going to see explore. And this is where they commented about the fact that that's not a great place for her to spend her summer. So that's something there. We also do find out when it comes to a world without a hope, this is going to be very different from the version we got in the Genie episode, because with Lizzie's wish had it if hope never existed. We are currently still living in a world where hope did exist. Just everybody has forgotten who she is and don't know how she's affected these people. So while they're not going to be the characters we saw in the Genie world, we do see the characters still have that history with hope, yet they don't realize it's her that has affected them in that history, if that makes sense. Or at least that's my understanding for it. But it will be interesting to see in what ways Hope's existence has affected them. So there's that. When it comes to Landon, we do find out that, or we do get confirmation that he's going to feel a little lost without his memories of Hope, especially when he has viewed her as his rock for most of it. We do hear hopes about maybe exploring Landon's powers as a phoenix. Maybe a family reunion, whether it's with his father or with Clark itself. No clues, but there's definitely talks of hope of that happening. So there's that. With Alaric, we do find out that he isn't the headmaster anymore, and then he's also trying to deal with the feeling of something missing. In this case, it's being hope, and trying to figure out what that means and why that is. So there's that. With Raphael, they did talk about how, like, there are current debates about how they're going to bring his backstory into it, specifically with him learning about his biological parents. They did bring up Haley Marshall, and how Raphael could parallel the journey that Haley had gone through, not only with trying to learn more about her birth parents, but also her journey of her having spent a long portion of time as a wolf, which Raphael is currently stuck in as a moment, and just seeing him trying to find the balance between not only being human and being a wolf, but then also going back to being around people again after he comes back out of it. So we're going to see multiple facets of that, and they did mention that it will somewhat parallel the type of journey that Haley went through, because she did try to find more information about biological parents. She did have to deal with being stuck as a wolf for a longer duration of time. So she did have to she was on her own journey herself of trying to find out who she was, type of thing. So we're going to see a bit of that. With Lizzie, we do find out that she's a little elated and free without hope in her life, and she has more of a positive outlook about it. Apparently, she's going to have a semester of yes, so that's going to be full of possibilities. And then they also tease about a possible relationship being ahead for Lizzie, and whether or not what she's like in a relationship, or if she's in the right headspace for it, and just see what that could entail. With Josie, on the other hand, she's not looking in a relationship. She's not purposely seeking it out, especially with what happened with Penelope, but she's more interested in finding answers to a lot of the questions that she has. A lot of it surrounding the merge and the ascendant that they had found in the finale, and just her trying to figure that out. And then also she did mention that Josie would be building a relationship with Alaric, I think, from my understanding. So there's that. With MG, they did talk about a bit of him showing signs of being a Ripper, and him trying to deal with like what that means, or at least being on the fence about is he one or is he not one, type of thing. So there's that. They also pointed out that his love interest in that Gorgon student, she won't be coming back, just for expense purposes. It apparently was very expensive to animate the snake hair. So that's unfortunate. but that's pretty much it there. And then they did get into a bunch of fan questions for sure that were really good. One being any recurring characters, new recurring characters. Lizzie's possible love interest is an old vampire with old ideas about being a vampire, and him kind of thriving in that. And that is apparently going to, if I read it correctly, and if I heard them correctly, that is going to be played by Thomas Doherty, and the character is called Sebastian at this point. But Thomas Doherty, I recognize him from Descendants too, so that's a familiar face for me there. Also, there's a new character of a new headmaster taking on Alarc's job. Apparently, there's also going to be 2 new students, a brother-sister duo, that come to the school. Apparently, there's also a new sheriff in town. I think they're replacing Matt Donovan, from my understanding. And then apparently they were teasing that Alarc was going to get a new love interest. I'm not sure if that's officially something that we're going to see, or if that's like something he's purposely trying to campaign for to have it happen, because Alarc definitely hasn't had the best luck with love. So I'm not sure if that's something that he was hoping to just get out there to see it happen, or if it's something that we are going to see. So there's that. There's also, there was a fan question about what flaw they thought their character had that they hope to see them outgrow. That was a pretty good question for the cast, just to hear what they thought that particular flaw was for their character. It was pretty interesting. Also, the Michelson family was brought up, which I truly appreciated, because the fact that Hope... Alright guys, just a quick heads up. My first recording ended right when I was just about to talk about the Michelsons, and I didn't realize that it ended because of my memory card until I finished actually recording. So anyways, I'm back. Let's go right back into it. I was talking about the Michelsons, so I'll start from there. The fact that they brought up how the Michelsons should be approached in the season is something I really appreciated, because of the fact is Hope disappeared. While she might have told Alarc to get rid of all traces and all memories of her from the school, she did not say anything about her family home. So whoever she's staying with the Michelsons, I'm assuming she's outside of school. She's supposed to be with Freya and Keelan in New Orleans. So that's what I'm assuming there. So like anything that she has there would still be there. So I'm assuming any one of the Michelsons, once they see that, they're going to be wondering, well, what's this stuff? Who's this? And then want to look into it. So I did appreciate the fact that they were talking about how they would incorporate that type of mystery, that type of situation into it. They also Julie also mentioned the fact that she had written scripts about Freya, yet the timing wasn't right due to scheduling and stuff like that. But she does want to explore the ramifications with the remaining Michelsons of Freya, Cole, and Rebecca in regards to Hope's decision to kind of erase herself from existence. Also, when I was thinking about it, I actually got a fanfiction one-shot idea about how it could possibly play out, of having them kind of like be nudged in the direction of like, you kind of need to look into this a little more, but I won't get into that. But I did record something about that for my own personal recollection, so we'll see where that goes. But also they did the fan questions. Let's move on to that. They did talk about whether or not we'll see Caroline Forbes. They did say like it will depend on where the story could take them, even though Candace was moderating the panel, so there was no official word about whether or not we'll see it, just whether or not the story would come about. Another thing that they did talk about that I wanted to mention was in regards to the merge, and a fan did point out a very good idea, I guess you could say, about whether or not if the twins were to become heretics, that is vampire witch hybrids, would that kind of exempt them from doing the merge? Because if you recall, a heretic is when a siphon witch, it gets turned into a vampire, and then as a vampire they now have the abilities they would have had as a regular witch. So they kind of have the best of both worlds now, because as siphon witches, they're now siphoning the magic continuously that comes from their vampire counterpart. So a fan did bring that up. Julie Pleck commented on how she loves Kai Parker, and she also brought up the fact that if being a heretic was an option, it's definitely something Josie and Lizzie would have to talk about once they've learned everything that there is to know about the merge and what their options were. So I did appreciate that. I would love to see how that conversation would go for sure. I definitely can't wait for something like that. So that is pretty much it. Yeah, and to come to think about it, it really sucks that my first recording got caught off so close to the end of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, a lot of the other fan questions didn't really pertain specifically to season 2, but more of like it just wasn't answered in any particular way. So I'll leave it at that. And that is the end of the spoilers coming from the panel itself. I'm not going to get into any of the interview spoilers, just because not only are there a bunch of them as a cast that they conducted together, but there's also so many of them, of the interviews of them individually, and that just takes too long. So this is just covering the panel spoilers in itself. But otherwise, that is pretty much it. So what did you guys think of this panel? Think of the panel or the spoilers revealed during San Diego Comic-Con? Are there any spoilers that I might have missed that maybe you did read in the interviews? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear about all of that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all the good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. I am behind. I'm fully aware of that. I hope to catch up to it very soon. It's just this past month has been so busy for me. So I'll try to get into it before the show comes back in October. Also, WordPress account, link for that is down below. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress. A little more organized, a little more detailed, but again, a work in progress once again. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back in October to see what I have to say about the season premiere for Legacies. If you don't want to wait until then, and if you haven't already, check out my monster comparison video between Legacies and Supernatural, which I posted back in May, I believe. But go check that out as well on my channel. But yeah, otherwise, thanks again. And this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.